Good morning, my name is Lida Solano, and this is the oral presentation for the course research project. So the name of my project is Pedagogical Proposal for a Didactic Sequence that seeks to promote the value of identity through the self-awareness in vulnerable children. So according to this data sheet, the research line is theoretical qualitative research in line with pedagogical practice education line of ESEDUS. The advisor is Edner Suarez Alomia, and the keywords are identity, self-consciousness, vulnerability, self-esteem, and recognition. The statement of the problem. So there is an imperative need to foster peace education through the first principle, that is educate to live in justice and compassion. So the target population with which the didactic sequence was applied comes from complex family contexts in which physical affection and words of love are really scarce. So the self-esteem of the most of the participants is really low. So how through the design and application of a didactic sequence to promote the value of identity through self-awareness in 12 children of the Techo Colombian program who live at Los Cerezos neighborhood in Soacha. Therefore, taking into account the first principle, it's necessary to consider that their self-esteem can be promoted by reinforcing the teaching and teaching the value of individual identity. The general objective of this project is to develop a theoretical basis that supports the importance of promoting the value of identity through the self-awareness. Specific objectives, there are 3 objectives: to detail the relevance of peace education in context or marginalized sectors, to interpret theoretical knowledge about peace education, and to define a pedagogical and didactic proposal based on the acquisition of the value of identity thanks to the social-emotional skill of self-awareness. For this project, it was important to consult 5 books and 7 journal articles. The books that I had to consult were Sui Hinto, about the 6 petals of peace education, one book related to the game in the identity and autonomy of the child, one book of Ministerio de Educación Nacional called Strategy for the Formation of Socio-Emotional Competences, one book by Tito Hernando Perez about Colombia from education in emergency to education for post-conflict and peace, and finally the book by Emilio Pauselli called Unequal Equity. The methodology. So 2 sessions were implemented. In the first session was the self-recognition and self-worth of the participants. In this implementation, there was a large number of manual activities. In the implementation of session 2, there was a little bit problem with the time and space management. So with respect to the results, the activities were adequate and were well received for the participants, and they were according to the needs. The difficulties were related to the time management and some activities that were mostly manual. The purposes were satisfactorily completed, and it was important to take into consideration some changes that were constant and punctual. So here is the pedagogical proposal. The first part was recognizing my emotions. The second one was taking care of my body. And the third one was creating my dreams in order that the participants could value their own body and take into account their individual identity and value. So here you can see the successful teaching sequence. The 80% was efficiency, the 60% were related to the research, and the 42% was related to the accuracy. So it was possible to answer the research questions, affirming that from the design and application of the didactic sequence called for a self-consciousness identity, it is possible to promote the value of identity in the children. Here you can see the references taken into account for this project.